Hello people, how you doing? Hope you're all good. This is going to be a bit of a different video today, more like a little vlog style one, just showing you some of the projects currently in process here at Freedom Forest. The season is gearing up, we've had some lovely warm weather already, so thought I'd show you what we've been up to. And apologies, because you might be able to hear the neighbours doing some fencing over there, banging in the background. But anyway, you can probably see behind me here two lovely big water butts, and we had only one last year actually, and I found I had to top it up maybe about 5 times throughout the season, which isn't too bad. It wasn't running completely empty each time, but when I tapped it and I felt it was getting to about half full, I was topping it back up, and that was watering all of our kind of 1 acre-ish outdoor growing areas and 1 polytunnel. But now we have the 2 extra tunnels recovered and ready to go. Thought we would upgrade. So give you a little walk around and explain what's going on. So these are about 5,000 litres, I believe. And I thought it's a good opportunity to take the old one off and give it a repaint, because the plastic can get deteriorated over time from the direct sunlight. And they've got these little covers on top. So basically I have a hose that goes into there, and I've made my own filters. So this plastic here was just from an old water butt, and then I stuffed like pond filter foam in here of different grades, going to really fine kind of cotton stuff. So that just means as these fill up, the water that's coming out isn't blocking the hose or the lance all the time, which is very handy. So they're both repainted, ready to go, and I had to make another platform for it to go on, which is just here, which has been all reclaimed materials, which is really cool. So we've got some lovely hardwood posts which are concreted about 2 feet into the ground, with braces down the side just there, and then some old metal girders that I managed to pick up that someone was getting rid of, and these lovely thick wooden slabs again which were given to me. So that is lovely and level. And then I've raised the initial one. You can probably, don't know how well you can see it here. You can just see it in here, and that one is made actually of all sleepers, and it was just to this level here last year, and as you can see I've added these extra sleepers upright, and then the wooden slabs going across, just to give it about an extra foot in height, because here at Freedom Forest you can probably see we're on like a gently sloping valley, so it goes down there and then there's a stream through behind the trees, and it goes up the other side into the forest. So it's brilliant in the fact that we can, I'm not sure if you can see me, just flip my little screen out. There you go. So it just means that we can utilise the slope by having the water at the highest point and having it gravity fed for our hoses, which is great. And I realised last year, just going a few foot down the hill, you get so much extra pressure. So I thought, let's add a foot on here. Didn't want to go crazy and have it like 10 metres or something. And yeah, and by having them both connected should give us much better pressure this year. So that is that. We'll get some footage, hopefully, of lifting those on later today when my parents are coming. Oh, chainsaws are going over there now. Stunning day here today. It's been absolutely glorious sunshine for like so long now. Hardly any rain, which is good and bad. But anyway, let's have a wander around, see what else is going on. We've got some beautiful daffodils I planted a few years back now. Here, this lovely area at the top here, just wanted to keep it as like a raw countryside because I love it. Hedges coming on well here, one of the boundary hedges, and there's hazel trees planted all the way along here, which they are too close to the hedge in all honesty. So I'm thinking next year of transplanting them down the side over here, where I'm going to be making a hazel and kind of just general nut forest. There's a lot of sweet chestnut in there, and I've got a few proper named varieties of hazels this year which I've planted, so I'm going to be grafting from those onto all the wild hazels. There we go. There's an old building here which has just been used for storage. Really nice actually. It's kind of like log cabin style with the kind of edges of the wood with the bark still on. So at some point we'll be remaking that, recladding it and giving it a new lease of life. This bush here, oh my God, if only you could smell it. The smell that comes off this is divine. I think it's often known as the Four Seasons berry, and it's in the kind of currant family, and oh my God, it's beautiful. Like, they do produce fruit, but they're not particularly delicious, but it's worth growing just for the stunning look and the smell. You can smell it from like 10 meters away, honestly. Beech tree, all sorts of trees I've dotted along down this side over the years. A lot of hazels that are just coming out now. If we can focus on that. No, we can't, never mind. And the birches are always one of the first trees to come out here into leaf when the sap rises, which is always a treat. And all the big trees along the back here are sweet chestnut, and they completely drop down here and just litter the floor with beautiful sweet chestnuts in the autumn. And then here are a couple of the name variety hazel trees, in amongst other things here. But I think we'll go back up this way because I wanted to show you the new access track and car park I've been making since last year. Oh, it's so beautiful today. Loving it. Right. This here was a big sweet chestnut tree, which I unfortunately had to cut back. And I didn't really do the best job because I left it, I should have cut it down to the base, but it's all re-sprouted. But I'm going to coppice that down maybe next year and let it regrow, and maybe just yeah, coppice it every 7 or 8 years for some nice sweet chestnut wood. So coming along this way, and of course the gorse is in flower, pretty much as always. Beautiful. You don't want to walk into it though. And some of the laurel as well, all flowering this time of year, just before it does its first burst of growth for the season. And that was the original hedge I planted about, I don't know, 6 years ago maybe. And then these ones I planted last year from, this is along the boundary of the new bit we bought from the neighbour. So they're starting to establish well. And up here, you can begin to see the new gate I've been putting in to the track, and still got it fenced in front at the moment, which I'll be removing soon. Got the wood on there, and then this I'm going to be just putting some kind of gravel on, just to make it a bit flatter. So it's a bit bigger than our current one, so we'll be able to fit a couple more cars on there, which is good. So one of the other jobs I'm in the process of doing is putting some weed membrane around the outside of all the tunnels and getting some wood chip on that just to hold it down, and of course it will make it look beautiful as well. This will cover this whole area, and then hopefully in 3 or 4 years we'll be able to remove the wood chip, the membrane there, and just have the wood chips. We've just got some really vigorous weeds in there at the moment. You can see over this side that we haven't kind of done the back to Eden, all the compost mulch and stuff. It's just, the ground is just so dry right now. It's just like dust, it's crazy. So this tunnel here, as you can see, complete mess. So I've got quite a bit of work ahead of me in here to do. All of this I'm going to cover just temporarily with some black weed membrane for maybe 3 weeks to try and just kill some of it off. I know that's not much time. Then I'm going to put a really thick layer of compost and wood chips in here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will suppress and kill off the worst of what's here. Some of it I might have to remove by hand, unfortunately, like the really thick clumps of stinger nettles. And my usual nemesis, the bracken, which is a real brute. Some of these roots go down. I've had them like 1 metre deep before when I've had the digger in here. So hard to get rid of, just keep constantly pulling them off really. Is all you can do. So yeah, this end is worse. So that's a job for the next few days on the extensive list. Coming out of this one, again, we've just started to get some of the black down, none of the wood chips yet though along here. Laurie's main growing area in the first tunnel here is kind of getting ready to go. We've lifted this membrane the other week, and all of our bags here, you can see, are full of compost. And we did one run of about 30 bags like this the other day, which got about halfway along here. This run will finish this side, and then there'll be another couple of runs when we lift the black plastic this side to finish here as well. And as you can see, the reason why we have to put this down is this bracken. You can see it's actually lifting this plastic up everywhere. It's just so strong and vigorous, and it would just be unmanageable to grow in here or on this land over this side without the membrane to try and kill this at the moment. So yeah, it's a necessary evil, unfortunately, because you'd literally be full-time pulling that out if not. Okay, coming out of there then, all of this area as well, as you can see, it's just kind of like in the process of just tons of weeds coming here. So going to be putting some membrane down here, and then going to have a few solar panels for a watering system. Here's a net house I made a couple of years back now, still going strong, beautiful. All the kale's growing well in there. And again, it's a similar story with the black membrane in there. Not ideal to use it because it means we kind of can't utilise all the space right now as much as we could have, but necessary, and it's doing the job, and there's not so much poking up in there now. So it's just going to be a case of covering all the ground surrounding the tunnels to try and stop it. But just next door in here, in the old area, you can see, for the most part anyway, if you can see, we don't have any bracken coming up in there now, so the wood chips have done the job. Coming along here, so at the back of the tunnels, I'm going to make another net house like this one. It's going to go the full length right down to the end of that other tunnel, and that is going to be for all the gooseberries and all the other kind of berries that just get decimated by the birds, unfortunately. They don't even leave us a single one. So I've really tried to do the kind of nature permaculture thing and leave a bit to them. I'm going to leave some out still anyway, just for the wildlife, but it would just be nice if they'd leave us a few. Gooseberries especially, they just strip every single one. It's quite a lovely habitat over here because it was surrounded by the ancient woodland in the distance there, and then some more kind of, don't know how you describe it, kind of like regenerating woodland this side. So, and then you've got all the open ground and then farmers' fields over the back with cattle grazing. So it's amazing habitat for all sorts of different birds and mammals, and it's got everything here basically. So this is the firewood shelter. I painted this the other day, repainted it, it's looking nice and fresh, and got to start restocking this now. So got some wood here, which I'll be cutting up finer. That's a job over the next coming few weeks. And this is from the outside of the food forest looking in. All of our beautiful fruit trees now are just starting to come into blossom and get their leaves, as well as you can see some various strawberries and all the gooseberry and blueberry bushes. And the hedges are coming on well surrounding this as well, which is good. Okay, these are some of our trees we planted. You might have seen me planting bare root trees, and in its first season already, this one has got some flowers on, which is good. More firewood here to be chopped up and processed. And another job for today, I've just got to get the strimmer out and trim around all the edges here of this bed. Because what tends to happen, although I got given a roll of this quite heavy duty tarpaulin, I kind of folded it over, as you can see, it's like here, in an L shape with the chicken wire there to stop the rabbits digging in. But this grass does, as you can see, if you let it get on there, it roots itself into anything. So just have to constantly trimming this back. It's just one of those jobs you have to do, that's life. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much most of what's going on. There's probably another 10 other things I've forgotten. Constant re-wood chipping the pathways. I'll try to do that on a rotation, maybe every 3 years, add another centimetre around, just whenever weeds start popping up. We'll take you into the woodland a little bit here now, just to show you. My mum has been doing some really nice work in here. So instead of bramble now, she's putting all sorts of primroses, little ferns, hellebores, native flowers, just to make it look a bit more pretty really. And over this way as well. So eventually it'll be nice to kind of continue that theme, but I do love the forest to be pretty wild. Little stream here, it doesn't flow that much this time of year. And it's mainly just kind of birches and pioneer species really, because I think the previous owners of this land, probably 30 years ago now, had cleared this bit of land from the forest next door, which was ancient woodland, unfortunately. So it's all regenerating now, and birches are normally one of the first species to start growing, and they kind of reclaim cleared land, which is great. So they only have a lifespan, they're quite short of 40 to 60 years. So some of them are getting to maturity now, and a few are dying off. So yeah, I guess it could even be a little bit longer than what I said. But very beautiful. There's some native willows in here as well. All along the stream here, you've got these big multi-stemmed alder trees, which again, I'm assuming because they are multi-stemmed, the previous owners years ago had cut them at some point and they've resprouted. Here's another one. Pretty stunning. And to go with the watering system, how we fill that is I've got several ponds I've built that fill up during the winter time, and I basically pump the water out of them. So, don't know if you can see the little birds there. I can't zoom, unfortunately. beautiful. Well, I'm probably starting to ramble on a bit now, so I think we'll leave it at that for today. But thank you very much for watching. Peace and plants, and much respect and love. Bye-bye. How's your back feeling, Andrew?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Just thought I'd help it in the healing process there. Bit of light lifting.